Hello everyone, it's great to see you again. Today we're going to be looking at Lichess again. Lichess isn't the focus of today's lesson though, we're actually going to be looking at coordinates. Now chess coordinates are often used, it is very much not known to chess beginners, yet it is a central part to understanding chess. It is important to learning chess. It's going to become one of your greatest tools. It allows you to play blindfolded. It allows you to play without even having any of the pieces in front of you. You can kind of imagine the game as it goes on, and I've heard that grandmasters and professional level players are often able to reenact the entire game in their brains in seconds just using the coordinates. And so these are very important to learn. It's definitely gonna be a benefit to you as you get going in your chess journey. Okay, so let's look at some of the coordinates. So how do coordinates work on chess? Basically, it goes as follows. I'll look at it from the white perspective first. So in each row and column, you have alphabets and numbers. Yeah. So these are actually very straightforward. We have 64 squares, we have 8 to h and 1 to 8, and so that equals 64 in total. And now it's important to realize that these are actually going to be reversed if you have different colors, and so this is something that I get confused a lot. I'm not always thinking about whether I'm playing based on the white direction or the black direction, and so that can get really confusing to me. Yeah, and it's kind of difficult where to start from because it's really straightforward. You just have and so okay, let's think about it this way. So here you see A to H, and these are actually called files instead of columns, and so these are A to H over and over again, A to H, A to H, A to H. So this entire thing is an A, that entire thing is an H. That's a column, that's a column, that's a column, and you actually call that files. And then you have the ranks here. These are I kind of think of these as like even royalty ranks, like because the pawns are in front of all the kings, it's kind of like the pawns are below them in a rank, or because they're lower in rank, they have to stand in front of the kings. And so in a sense, it goes that the rows are called ranks. It goes from 1 to 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And so basically these are all columns: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and then these are all all ranks: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, okay. Let's start training. And so what's important in chess, as you will realize, is knowing for example, which coordinate this one is, this one square in the entire board, in order to kind of imagine in your brain this quickly. And it becomes important later on as you get into more advanced chess, because they're not always going to have a drawing and a chessboard to reenact the game in. And these days, yes, we have all these chess.com analysis boards that we can plug the coordinates into, but it's just a tool that will come in very handy to you. Okay, so let's start training. D5, and so you look for D5. The D column, the files are here. The 5 rank is here, and so that is D5. A1 is right here, and yeah, and I actually turned on the coordinates for now so that you guys can see. I'm actually really bad at this. I did train once in a while when I first started doing chess, but then I kind of gave up, and I don't know, I just felt that I didn't need it that much. But nowadays, I'm really realizing the need to do this because, if you, for example, go to learn, if you go to study, right, you can actually see a lot of really famous games from the past that were important. Let's look at some Magnus Carlsen games. Yeah, and so we'll have some Magnus Carlsen games, and they're all in coordinates. And of course, this is moved onto chess.com thankfully by one of the members here. Thank you so much. But not not all the times will you have this, and it's just very important that you understand this. And also, I think in a lot of ways, chess discussions can also happen in this kind of way. Like if you see YouTubers like Gotham Chess, for example, they're going to be like, oh, 93 is a, for example, here 95 is a possibility. I don't know, bishop to d3 is a possibility, queen here is a possibility, right? You can kind of imagine all these different ideas, and the coordinate system is kind of a way to facilitate that. I think it's kind of a language of the boards in a sense. And so if learning how the board's kind of chess pieces move is the language of chess itself, now you have command over the language of the board. And this language of the board is going to be very important to you later on as well. Okay, yeah, so let's go back to the coordinates. You can go here, learn, and then click coordinates. Pretty simple on Lichess. Okay, now let's not use the coordinates and try this. And you can also find specific ways you want to practice this. And so you can literally go like this. I want to practice the B ring, for example. Okay, so B5 must be here. H6 must be here. D5 must be here. B2 must be here. H5 must be here. H4 must be here. C5 must be here. H2 must be here. B5 must be here. D4 must be here. B5 must be here. D4 here, D2 here, C6, C4, B5, C5, B6. And because this is randomly generated, it's actually going to give you the same numbers multiple times sometimes. That's something to be considered. And what gets really confusing is when they switch up the white and blacks, because that can like completely messes with your mind. And yeah, let's try this. It's gonna be very difficult. F6. Oh wait. Oh yeah. F6. F7. C2. H8. G3. Is this G3? Yes. E4. G1. G2. B3. D8. Oh, D8. A2. E2. Is that E2? D2. D7. F2, where is F? A, B, C, D, E, F, F2. Yeah, and I know people who get to like 30 and 40, even. I don't think 40, but definitely 30. If you do 1 per second, you can definitely get there. And so, yeah, and let's try this one. This is a wholly different kind of challenge because you have to think of it upside down. You're thinking, okay, H2, C1, oh, C1, B7, where is B7? That's B7, F5. And I know that once you get familiarized with all these, okay, different coordinates, it becomes easier for you to imagine the chessboard. Because you're familiar with all the squares, you know where all of them are. You're in command of this entire board now. And then when someone says, okay, I want to go knight to e3, you're like, oh, okay, knight to e3, I'll do that. If I wanted to play blindfolded, I'm gonna go pawn to d5, pawn to d4. Yeah, I can move that. I can do the game blindfolded, and that's something really cool, right? It's just something you can show off all the time in a party. You know, you go up to people and you're like, oh, do you want to play chess? I'll play blindfolded for you, and then you win. And of course, we don't do chess to brag, but it's really fun. I think blindfolded chess, I think I did review this once on chess.com. It really does help you with envisioning the game. And envisioning the game is very important because not all the time will you be able to see the moves without envisioning them. And so being able to do that, generate possibilities and circumstances, and look forward like 4 or 5 moves after what will happen to after you play is very, very important. And these are the kind of skills that you're gonna have to learn, and learning the coordinates, of course, is a tiny baby steps towards this. And so I do definitely recommend that you study this. There are a lot of games available. I think there are also on chess.com as well. Check these out. I'm using Lichess primarily for these because I want to show you guys the possibility there is in using Lichess as a very free and very user-friendly program. It's just it's such a bummer that a lot of people are like, oh, you know, I mean, Lichess, but there's chess.com, and It's kind of on the side, but it's completely free and it doesn't have any ads, and it's just like it gives you so much leeway. There's so much educational stuff available here that you can use to your ability. But yeah, let's cut that short. Study the coordinates. It's actually really fun. You can learn so much, and it's just a way to get better at chess. And it's one of the many tools that you're going to be able to use in chess. Thank you so much for watching. Have an amazing day and stay curious. Bye.